Shurka and his mom lived in solitude. Shurka had a dad, naturally, but he didn't require them. Regarding his father, he hasn't inquired yet. In school, children are evaluated based on their parents' popularity, and in the kindergarten, toy-related matters are more relevant than the presence or absence of a father. Nadezhda made the decision not to let Shurka know that she deeply fell in love with Shurka's upcoming father. When she revealed her pregnancy to him, he disclosed that he was married. He faces issues with his wife, but he cannot abandon her due to her father being his boss. In any event, being without pants wouldn't be favorable, and Nadezhda would hardly require that. She recommended getting rid of the child before it's too late, as she won't receive financial support. If she chooses to proceed, it'll be worse for her. She didn't insist, vanished from his life, and raised Shurka all by herself. Shurka turned out pleasant, and that sufficed for her. Nadezhda toiled as a primary school instructor, and 5-year-old Shurka attended nursery. Moreover, they didn't require anyone's assistance. Following the New Year celebration, a fresh fitness coach arrived at the school. He was tall, well-built, and always had a smile on his face. All the unmarried women among the teaching personnel, and they constituted the majority, immediately took notice of him and tried to impress him. However, Nadezhda was the exception. She didn't pay attention to him, nor did she find his jokes amusing. Maybe that's why he directed his focus towards her. One afternoon, as she was leaving the school premises after class, an SUV pulled up in front of her. The gym teacher stepped out of the vehicle and courteously opened the passenger door for Nadezhda. "Please," he smiled, gesturing towards the seat. "It's not too far from here," Nadezhda said, feeling perplexed. "Just take a seat. It's better to drive than walk, even if it's not far," the gym teacher reasoned. Nadezhda hesitated for a moment, but eventually got into the car. The gym teacher shut the door, took the driver's seat, and asked for her destination. "I'm unaware. I merely possess the count of the nursery." Nadezhda furrowed her brows in embarrassment. "What nursery?" The physical education instructor gazed at her with confusion. "The nursery my son attends," Nadezhda readily explained. "You have a son, a grown one?" For some reason, the gym teacher promptly switched to you, Shurka. "He's 5 years old," Nadezhda replied and took the pen. "I'd prefer to depart." She opened the SUV's door. "Wait. Let's depart." He turned the ignition key. Nadezhda slammed the door shut. It would be fine if he gave her a ride after Shurka. They couldn't have anything anyhow. Why would a man require a woman with a trailer when there are plenty of unattached ones around without children? "Well, if you're not in a rush," Nadezhda sighed. "I'm in no rush. No one awaits me. I have neither spouse nor offspring," the gym teacher promptly revealed, sparing Nadezhda from unnecessary inquiries. "Why like that? Dreadful temperament? Women can't tolerate it. Or hurt by what? That you fear serious relationships?" inquired Nadezhda. "You're so intense. I didn't anticipate it. Yet you seem calm." "Everything occurred, both love and offenses. However, we never got married, and not solely due to my fault. It didn't work out. And temperament. There are no people with impeccable temperament, dear Nadezhda Andreevna. You also have a deceitful appearance. Do you regret that you decided to give me a ride?" "Oh, turn into this yard," she asked hastily. The car halted at the garden gate. "I'll wait," said the gym teacher when Nadezhda alighted. She lingered by the car. "It's not worth it. We live very close to each other. I don't want my son to ask questions later. Do you understand, Nikita Sergeyevich?" Nadezhda looked at him sternly, as at an incomprehensible first grader. "Don't wait for us." She slammed the door and went to the garden. She departed, and Nikita Sergeyevich Suvorov remained inside the vehicle for a few moments, contemplating. Afterward, he initiated the engine and drove away. Approximately 10 minutes later, Nadezhda emerged from the nursery entrance, grasping her son's hand. She breathed a sigh of relief mingled with a bit of disillusionment. Everything is evident. He doesn't require a lady with a child. Well, and excellent. We too, with Shirka, he does not need, she pondered. Nevertheless, the following day, Nikita once again awaited her at the school gate. I know you presumed I eloped after discovering you had a son. I didn't. Get in. Daycare? He casually inquired. Hope smiled and nodded. As she brought Shirka to the car, he gazed intently at Nikita, precisely as he had the day before, then turned his gaze up to his mother. This is my coworker, Nikita Sergeyevich. He toils at our school. Well, what's the matter? Sit down, Nadezhda said playfully and cheerfully to conceal her embarrassment in front of her son. Shirka didn't leap with happiness, didn't hurry to the vehicle. He with a grave expression clambered into the rear seat and gazed out the window. Where are we headed? Nikita inquired, facing him. Somewhere not very far. Without a child seat, they can penalize you, Nadezhda said concerning her son. Then let's proceed to the amusement center. It's still chilly for a stroll. Shirka, do you agree? Nikita asked loudly and merrily. Shirka didn't respond, still peering out the window, as if nothing else mattered to him more than this activity. Nikita grinned and ignited the car. At school, everybody was significantly quiet when Nadezhda entered the teacher's lounge. And when the gym instructor entered, they rushed to vacate the room, smiling unevenly and exchanging perceptive glances. Nikita didn't compel the occurrences, demonstrated patience. Several times following supper at Nadezhda's place, he departed, and the third time he remained until morning. Nadezhda slept poorly, awakened, and glanced at the display of the electronic clock, fearful that Shirka did not catch her off guard in bed with Nikita. Come on, the youngster is big intelligent. Let him acclimate to it, mentioned Nikita in the morning, embraced Nadezhda, and leaned against him. However, she disentangled herself from his embrace and stood up. During the week, her son wouldn't wake up in the garden, and today, by chance, he woke up early. When Shirka entered the kitchen after the bath, Nadezhda was already frying cheesecakes, and Nikita sat at the table. Hi, Shirka said surprised and looked at his mother, waiting for an explanation. Wash your face, then sit down to breakfast. Nadezhda smiled first at Nikita, then at Shirka and approached the table with a pan. Initially, she positioned cheesecakes on Nikita's plate, and only after that, she did the same for Shirka, which the boy promptly acknowledged. Bon appetit, Nadezhda uttered and poured tea into cups. How many spoons of sugar do you require? She inquired Nikita. 2. Nikita kept his gaze fixed on Shirka. Well, let's play a game of who can consume the cheesecakes the fastest. Why? Shirka looked at Nikita with a serious expression. Just because. Nikita chuckled. A real man, when challenged, accepts and endeavors to triumph. So shall we? And he broke off a piece of cheesecake with a fork, putting it into his mouth, and noisily sipped tea from the cup. Shirka consumed the cheesecake slowly, chewing for an extended period, and showed no intention of winning. Hope was pleased that her son behaved independently, not yielding to weakness, but also felt disheartened, recognizing that Nikita didn't like him. Mother mentioned that your birthday is approaching swiftly. What would you desire to receive as a gift? A transformer? A car with a remote control? What are your preferences? Nikita also ceased hastily consuming food, opting to approach Shirka from the opposite side. I wish for a puppy, stated Shirka. Electronic? So it's for young ones, expressed Nikita in a disappointed manner. A living one. Shirka glanced contemptuously at the perplexing adult. We have previously discussed this. A puppy demands attention. It's not a cat that strolls independently. He cannot be left alone for extended periods. He'll chew up furniture. He'll create puddles. You have to take him for a walk occasionally. And you and I are away from home all day. Nadezhda intervened in the conversation. When you are older, you can take him out yourself. Then I don't require anything. Shirka did not conceal his disappointment. Conclude consuming. Let's proceed to the shop. You'll witness the playthings. Perhaps that you'll desire something. Nikita dispatched the final piece of cheesecake into his mouth. Towards the conclusion of March, it abruptly turned cold again. The snow had nearly all melted under the beams of the warm sun. And now it was blizzarding once more, the wind was freezing, and it was snowing periodically, fine and prickly. The three of them drove to the shopping center. Nadezhda was browsing clothes for her son. He was growing fast. What she bought in the autumn was already short or small in the spring, particularly the boots. And they were not significantly cheaper than adult sizes. She chose the more economical options, and Nikita in the toy department acted as a connoisseur, showing Shurka the toys. He indifferently glanced at robots and cars. Only once his eyes brightened when Nikita displayed a cool transformer. But Nadezhda took Shurka to try on a jacket. From the store, they emerged with bags. In one large bag was a box. Nikita surmised that the same transformer was inside. At the present time, as they neared the parking area, a charge of exquisite snow arrived. Something petite and fluffy hurried beneath their feet. Nikita cursed vigorously. "No, did you catch a glimpse of it?" he inquired of Nadezhda. Right beneath his feet. He could have stepped on it. Shurka observed a grimy ball of wool at Nikita's feet, which quivered and huddled against him, tucking its tail. "Leave this place." Nikita kicked the puppy with his shoe, and he soared towards the car's wheels, whimpering pitifully. Shurka immediately darted towards the puppy, scooped him up in his arms, and glared at Nikita with animosity. "You simpleton!" Shurka yelled at him. "Shurka, how do you speak to Nikita Sergeyevich?" "Apologize," demanded Nadezhda. Shurka clutched the trembling puppy to his chest and had no intention of repenting for his words. "Shurka, he's soiled, maybe even ill. You'll catch some kind of shingles. Let him go," Nadezhda insisted. However, Shurka gazed at her in such a manner that she promptly understood he wouldn't release the puppy from his grasp for anything in the universe. "He'll get cold. We'll bathe him, and I'll tidy up the puddles myself." Shurka's mouth curved. He was on the verge of tears. "Mother is correct, and if he's unwell, we can all get infected from him. Let's visit the bird market next weekend and purchase a regular, healthy puppy." Nikita handed the bags to Nadezhda and approached Shurka himself. "Give him to me." He reached out his hands for the puppy. Shurka clutched the quivering bundle tighter to his chest, spun around, and darted to sprint along the parking lot. At that moment, a car started reversing. "Shurka!" shouted frightened Nadezhda, freezing on the spot. The car still struck Shurka, though not forcefully. Nadezhda dropped the bags and rushed to her son. He was sitting on the asphalt, holding the puppy in his arms. Tears streamed down his cheeks. "Where does it ache? Are you fine? Release him. Because of him, I nearly got hit by a vehicle," Nadezhda expressed, wiping the tears from her son's cheeks. "You better observe the child, Mom." A man emerged from the car. "You're witnesses. It wasn't my fault. He was in the blind spot. I couldn't see him. He threw himself under the wheels." He conveyed to the onlookers, designating them as witnesses. "All right, man, I'm sorry. We got no issues with you." Nikita approached them with bags in his hands. "Step back, I have to depart." The man gestured and entered the car. Nadezhda assisted Shurka to stand up, took her to a secure sidewalk. "Give up that deceased man, finally. He looks just like his mom." "Nadia, he's making ropes out of you. You should give him a belt." Nikita angrily and irritably reproved both of them. "Stop it. Let's finally go home." Nadezhda wearily cut him off. "He belongs to me. I won't abandon him. And with this, I won't leave." Shurka gazed at Nikita with animosity and remained motionless. "You intentionally kicked him. I witnessed it. How do you communicate with me, puppy?" "I don't require him ruining my car." Nikita raised his voice. "Nikita, enough. That's my son." Nadezhda shouted at Nikita. "All right, take him." She looked at Shurka with disapproval. "Just travel by car. It's cold." At that moment, the clouds arrived, covered the sun, and the wind hurled a fresh charge of prickly fine snow at them. Throughout the journey, they traveled in silence. Upon reaching the house, Nadezhda informed Nikita that he should head to his place. He swore, expressing his disagreement with her decision to indulge the spoiled son. She would regret later. The door slammed loudly as he drove away, enveloping them in Shurka's exhaust fumes. At the residence, they laundered and nourished the little dog. Once he dried up, he appeared lovely and fluffy. The following day, they transported him to the veterinary clinic. They detected nothing amiss with the puppy and proposed to immunize him. You rescued him from being killed. Excellent for you. The veterinarian even shook Shurka's hand. He'll be appreciative to you until the end of his existence and will never be disloyal to you. However, what are we going to do with him tomorrow? I'll head to work. You'll be in the garden, Nadezhda reasoned on the route to the residence. We'll lock him in the restroom, responded Shurka. Yes, so that he would whimper and disrupt the entire household, Nadezhda inquired. Mom, he's intelligent. Everything will be fine. You're my champion. Nadezhda caressed her son's head. In the evening, Nikita arrived with a bunch of roses. Nadia, I'm sorry, I went too far. He started to apologize to her with a remorseful expression. No, Nikita, nothing between us will work out. Go away. That's the way, I shall depart, but you'll repent it. You believe that anyone requires except me, and even with such a son. Nikita uttered haughtily. Nadia pushed him in the chest across the threshold and banged the door shut. In the room, Shurka played on the floor with a puppy. Mother, behold, he licks my hand. Shurka's eyes were gleaming with delight and absolute bliss, which can only be experienced in childhood, when a dream has finally come true. And the puppy yawned, lay on his side, and closed his eyes. Did he arrive? Shurka looked suspiciously at Nadezhda. Yes, but he won't return to us again, and we don't require him. We have Smile, said Shurka joyfully. Who? Nadezhda was surprised. I named the puppy that. Isn't it splendid? It's short for Smiley. He's smiling, look. Nadezhda gazed upon the joyful Shurka, contemplating that she had been tricked once more. When shall Felicity locate her? Solely, it is assuredly not Nikita. Extraterrestrial youngster, he is improbable to adore. And if Shurka is delighted, she can experience happiness too.